Ha! Unmute. Oh well. It was really good. I promise. All the stuff I just said, it's amazing. So you'll get a short recap. Son of a gun. Yesterday, I worked on the environment repository, and that's the thing that's going to hold the skills that are associated with the environments. This means that I can go to a location and it knows what I usually do there. If I've given my skills, my capability to that store, it also knows the capabilities that are naturally associated with that location. For instance, if people provide agent skills from the community, or ideally, if the location itself, the store, for example, provides skills and stuff. The environmental repository is really flexible because it also deals with not just locations, but applications, websites. You can also, every time you pop into a environment, it will have skills and stuff hanging from it. So today I'm going to take this thing I created yesterday and hopefully start filling it with skills, one at a time. I took an opportunity to play with computer usage. It's something that obviously is becoming important, and I haven't looked at it quite as much as I should. It's really cool. I think it's not quite there quality-wise to do exactly what I want. It's doing a lot of things where it's like please don't touch that. And the way they're set up is like you're usually tossing tasks to these agents, and you don't really have visibility into what they're touching. So I think the technology's not quite there yet. That means practically wait a month, and it probably will be. I think the user experience also is not quite there because it's weird to have something on my machine that's like rummaging through stuff. Could be a little bit scary. And then I also talked with a fellow named Matt Linkus, who works at Supabase and is their lead on integrations. And he had some really good ideas for Rook. We were just talking about product stuff with Rook. His one thing he said is make sure that Rook does not fight against the incumbent solution. He had a database solution that was probably quite good, but if you chose his startup idea before joining Supabase, if you chose that database solution, then it meant you were choosing not to use Postgres or any other like established database, and so that's not a decision that most companies will make. You know, the companies that you really want to make that decision are the big companies like, no, I can't shut down Postgres just to go to a startup. And so they didn't get the traction that they wanted because of that. So for Rook, that means we've got to be careful about how we compete against other agents that are out there and work with them as opposed to work directly against them. And hopefully it pulls more people into our ecosystem once they see it's mature, which it's not, not yet. But also it kind of isolates maybe a subpart of this ecosystem that is going to be really valuable. The ability to take capabilities and attach them to environments in the world around you and in the world in front of you, and have the world contribute to these capabilities and companies themselves contribute to these capabilities. That might be the molten core. The other thing is I gave him my same story about like you've got your application on your phone and you go to Kroger's and it can help you navigate the store and check out inventory. And it's a cool story, but it's a bit threadbare, and it's not a pain point that anyone has right now. We've all got shopping lists and we all somehow make it out of Kroger's okay. He said, I really need to work on that initial story and make the pain felt as opposed to be like, oh, this is kind of a nice thing. And I've heard this elsewhere too. Greg Cesarelli has been harping on me recently to create, that we should create like a wedge, something that is like the initial product that really does scratch and itch that's already out there, rather than just be cool because someday this will be awesome. I agree. If the wedge goes out and people like it, then they can see there's other stuff here. All right. Well, now since I've done my intro twice in a row, I'll actually get some work done maybe. Oh, and it would be good to remember to stick my camera to, oh, where is it? Now, where is that looking at? That's not what I see on my screen. Nope. Nope. Still nope. What is this guy? My screen. I deleted the desktop that I was using for the first time ever, and so it's like, okay, there is nothing here anymore. So as always, welcome to Taming the Rook, where we learn about OBS streaming software instead of actually taming a rook. And of course, this is the worst content ever too, because you can't even see what I'm working on. OBS hides itself from the virtual camera. Oh, here we go. By golly, that's it. All right. Oh yeah. See, this is where I was using Codex computer usage, and it was rummaging around through my applications. But I was asking it a cool thing. I wonder if it finished. I was asking Super Codex using computer usage so it could rummage around on my computer. Oh, whether or not I could dictate these silly conversations I'm having right now and have it appear in a document somewhere so that I can jump back into the conversation, have an agent read what I said and pull out interesting things, and I could have a transcript for later. Can you figure out how Super Whisper is running and tell me if I can use its model? All right, it figured out. It's doing all this stuff. It's doing all this stuff. I'm sure it's embedding Llama CPP. Oh, well, is that the same thing as local Llama? All right. So the answer is no. I can't use this Super Whispers API where it's already hosting a language model. That sucks. What else was it working on? My wife is learning to edit videos for me through Descript, and she just deleted all of her work for the past 4 hours. That's not pleasant. Oh yeah, I could do this too. She undeleted it, don't worry. I know one little silly thing I wanted to do right here. It's a demo. Let's see if it works at all. Who knows? It's a demo of what I want to do, but doesn't exist yet. The agent's not up to it yet. Whenever I jump into the environment of my Obsidian Vault, I want the agent to have visibility into what's happening. And I want this to be true of absolutely any place in my computer or in real life in locations. And I want to be able to say, kind of like you can do in a cursor, right? Research these online and flesh out every bullet point with a very short paragraph, maybe just 2 or 3 sentences about what these things are. Now, unfortunately, since this thing does not have full environmental awareness yet, the agent is separated from the application that it should be observing. it can still touch it, but it can't see anything from it, and it's also sees too many things right now, so it doesn't really see just this. So I have to say, you'll have to look in the BYOA competitors or collaborators note inside my Tiddly John vault, because that's what I called this thing eons ago before it was in Obsidian. It was in TiddlyWiki. That was great. That was before Bear or Obsidian or Notion. It was a single page freaking web app, HTML, and all the JavaScript that programmed the thing was inside that page. So in the early noughts, you would download this page that was a blank TiddlyWiki, and you would just start typing in the cells, and it would become your wiki. And this was the trick. Every time you clicked save for anything you wrote, it would rewrite itself. How sketchy is that? Your browser would actually allow the web page to rewrite the web page. Obviously, that quit working at some point. So Obsidian is a far superior solution. Oh, another annoying thing about what I've got right now is when you search or fetch things, use the Brave skill for this only, because it's much more legible. Send it now. I need to get that. Everything's Pi underneath, so I need to get a better search tool. Brave is great, but the actual skill that's running it is not dependable. While that's cooking, and before I, in earnest, should I? Yeah, before I, in earnest, do you know Ernest? Before I in earnest go to the work I wanted to do today, let's see what I have here. This is
updated competitor note summaries.
Oh, did you? Oh, look there. There we go. It's got good links. Yep. Did it hit the right links for this? Sure did. Nice. Yeah, that's what I want to do. I don't want it to have to do the guesswork of finding where you are. I don't want to do the guesswork of mucking around and finding a better search skill, if that's what it was doing. I'm curious though. Thank you for this. It took you about 5 minutes though. Where was most of the time spent? Was there any back steps you had to make? I'm curious where it thinks it's spending its time. Yep. So once the thing is environment aware, then I'll skip that. This probably is unavoidable, but I can improve my Pi setup for that. Her OpenClaw and Hermes are generic enough. Well, Hermes, I guess. OpenClaw shouldn't be. Yeah, I keep trying to use curl for fetching web pages, which is probably not ideal. All right, in the meantime, I'm really excited about this PR that Michael Pedersen has created. What this is going to do is create the ability for the iPhone application to be very, very, very location aware. I think it might be an interesting approach. He's created basically his own distillation, if you will, of OpenStreetMaps data, where basically rather than having the normal file they have for storing everything that you can retrieve later and then hydrate into a format that is in memory and large, he's figured out a way to make it where it's pretty efficient to look up data on disk, which is, I guess, in S3 in this case, and make it really compact. So your building in his map might be shaped like this or something, but it's, I mean, for the work that we're doing right now, having a tiny file that has all the same content is really cool. But when your phone is in some place, it should be able to find, it can find the lat long. From this, it can look up the actual building you're in, and from the metadata associated with the building, it should be able to find, like, okay, this is a particular website or something like that that is important. That way we can start building out skills around it. Ooh, okay. E spaces Burton Hills. Oh, neat. Neat. Oh, wow. Interesting. Right location skill. Interesting. Okay. Files changed. A lot of stuff is happening in the client. That's expected. Okay, so that's a change. Server. All right, let's take it for a spin. Day 4. Are you guys hot? It's hot in my room. Pull 60 looks to be complete. Can we fetch it, switch over to that branch, and take a look at what is changed? If you look at the PR description, I think that should be a really good breadcrumb, as well as look at some of the changes in the there we go. Oh yeah, I was trying Zed too. Boy,
PR60 checked out and reviewed.
this is like the ugliest combination of colors ever made. This is getting noticeably slower. I think that's my application. Rook, I mean, not the model. All right, iPhone to text. A settled sealed visit arrival. I wonder what that is. Post. Okay, so we've got a new endpoint. That's expected. Hidden behind the endpoint. Okay, so what are the invariants that I want to keep? I want to make sure the server API is clean and we've not changed any of the existing stuff, I think. Okay, why am I not telling this to my agent? I want to make sure in this change that we're keeping some invariants safe. I want to make sure that none of the server endpoints that existed prior to this PR have been modified, unless there's a good reason. I want to make sure that the new APIs introduced in this PR are clean and don't expose any of the details for how it's implemented underneath. I want to make sure that the environment name for locations follows a expected style based on the code that is in main right now, not in the code in this PR. You can look in the product directory for that. However the server side stuff is implemented, I want to make sure that it's a clean modular implementation. Okay, so blah, 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 blah. If the user experience changed, then I want to understand that. If the previously existing user experience changed, and then I want to know that. Yeah, but of course it changed. Michael added a thing. It's a whole new location thing. In the server, there are Some new scripts. There's location stuff. And it all shrinks down. Once I close that, that's good. So what changed outside of locations? Some changes to environment manager. New routes. P-tiles looks like implementation detail. We'll see. All right, and what changed inside the environment manager? Extra skills path looks suspect. Get skill runtime path. Uh-oh, I don't think that's inside the main anymore, is it? Dang it, it is. Wait, that's a test. Yeah, okay, there it is. The changes from yesterday that I made should have, I think, removed the notion of the skills. Oh, well, it says get bundles. I made, like, the idea of a bundle of capabilities as opposed to only having agent skills. In the previous changes in main, I quit using the notion of a skill and encapsulated all the capabilities under the idea of a bundle, including a skill. But I'm surprised to see this. Why is this there? Is it for the agent? Yeah, okay. The agent needs to know the runtime path for a particular skill. I'll hold this off somewhere else. This might be worth looking into. All right, what else we got? Why do we need the API for the P tiles? It feels like an implementation detail. Is it not? Could that be hidden behind the new location API? What's a P tile? P tile. Yeah, I think this is one of Michael's things. P tile. Open Street Map. Yeah. OpenStreetMap. So a tile is an OpenStreetMap thing. A P tile is a Michael thing. How was the identify available environments API extended? Are all the fixtures in a pretty standard place, or should we hide them somewhere else closer to the code they modify? I don't know. Are all the additional scripts something that we should keep flat inside the scripts directory, or should we start adding a little bit of hierarchy to the scripts directory? Inside of the server, dear. Man, models are pretty slick. The model noticed that we said that when an environment is available, you kind of get a choice about whether or not you join it, and the code is like, nope, you're joining it. It's a pretty subtle thing for an agent to just happen to notice. Oh, location environment awareness. That might be an interesting thing to read, indeed. You might have to summarize this for me. We need to simplify the, oh yeah, gosh. Copy path. Oops. Because a lot of the content should be included in the, what's the name of that other file? Address the above issues, but make sure to do it tersely. I'll ask for more details if I need them. You know what? I said address the above issues. Oh, shoot. Spinning beach ball of doom. It's not coming back. Roll. Yeah, so for some reason the Macintosh application had trouble starting back. So, oh pity. Let's open up Pi. Oh, by the way, this was started when I ran scripts, run rook, server, what is this specifically?
Installed missing server dependency.
Oh, sure. Okay, that makes sense. a good sign. All right, welcome back. I think I will. I need to update the tool call so it's easier to see what's going on. But it's tricky because they need to be generic. Not every, well, most everything has a read. But like, I don't know, do you like just show this crap? Maybe. Holy moly. See if I can get it up and running on my phone. That's what matters anyways. Rook would like to access your motion and fitness activity. All right. That might be a thing. Why are we accessing that? Do we need to remove? Is an implementation detail of the current geo identification approach, right? Would it be possible to remove the external API that calls into it and just have that be an internal detail? besides the architecture file, I'm trying to keep the files within product fairly small and semi-legible to a human. When I started the app on my phone, it asked for my exercise information. Do we really need that right now? If so, why? All right. Oh yeah. I use what Owen showed me. Oops. And this is my phone. All right. I'll keep that hidden for a little bit though. Help me further understand the extra skill pass and what a synthesized location context skill is. Okay. Is the new API clean? Does it expose? Huh. Mm. For now, the specifics of the store. Mm. Mm. What should we do instead? Maybe we need to introduce the notion of maybe location. A maybe environment. Where is this? Remember, we also might have some uncertainty of environments in websites or applications too, potentially. Not just locations. Okay. It's not an environment. How does that expose anything dangerous? Oops. Oops. It's a Boolean. Oh, we got no color in this file. Oh, Swift. Of course. I've generalized the notion of skills to incorporate things like MCP servers and maybe even other things. They're now under the notion of a bundle, which could have skills or MCP servers. Your code is still referencing just skills, so we'll need to change that later. Sorry for not advertising this better. Yeah, that's true. I think it's misreading this. Okay, when we look, it says that the environment identifier, identify. payload environment is, okay, that definitely looks read-only, and it is definitely doing a thing, although I understand what it's doing. Yeah, okay, so sounds like a read-only thing. Like it should just return a list of stuff. But what it's doing is actually registering the environment with the environment manager. I think the thing that it is doing is correct, but we should make the name not sound like it's read-only. Alternatively, maybe we should make two endpoints. One that truly is read-only for identifying candidate environments, and then an endpoint for registering the environments that maybe the user says are the real environments. But this gets into some usability issues that I've been puzzling with. We should probably talk first. Okay, why do we need this? Let's see. We've already talked about the p-tile stuff. Yep. That's fine. Still complaining about the same things that I already told it to complain about. There's a lot of scripts now sitting in the server scripts folder that all have to do with location stuff. We might want to add some hierarchy inside the scripts server, and maybe a README to keep track of all that. And what do we have? Clients, product, server, scripts. Fixtures. All right, I want to understand what extra skills path is doing. Aha! I knew it. See that jump? It jumped to some crazy different place. Use GH to rummage through the issues in this Git repo. There is an issue where whenever the client, the Mac client, renders the markdown, once the markdown is finished generating, that it will jump to some other location on the screen. It'll like scroll up in the conversation. I just figured out a way to reproduce that. Get it to generate a fairly long chunk of markdown, but then as it's generating, scroll up a little bit, and then once it's finished generating, then it will jump to a strange location. Find that issue and then update it with this steps to reproduce. All right. So what's the deal? Let's talk about it. Ah. Ah, okay. I see what's going on. We'll need to remove extra skills. This thing. Shite. I hate when it does that. Gonna have to get me a new speech to text. Because of the work I just merged. Prior to my recent PR, the notion of an environment repository was synonymous with a directory. With the directory. But I introduced the class that allows that directory to be programmatically interacted with and serves as a facade so that we can have potentially multiple directories that serve as the official canonical environment repository or as my personal environmental repository of my own skills that I've taught the thing. And in the future we could have like a remote services that have environmental repositories if we wanted to. It's an abstraction. So we don't need to add in extra skill paths, if I understand it correctly. Okay, that one was a little bit too long. All right, now I'm going to make a comment on his PR. And how am I going to do it? I'm going to go to this other app that I've vibe coded called Wordy. And I'll paste the thing that I want to change. And I'll say, keep everything the same, but remove these square brackets so that it's a normal bulleted list instead of to-dos. It'll do as I say. And then while it's chugging on that, oh yeah, I can't copy paste out of this. That's another pain point. I've got a bug for that. Okay, so accept all those changes. And then what, then what, then what? I want that. Okay, that makes sense. So I'm going to tail this, and it's going to be giant, but not terribly so. And then I'll pipe it into JQ. This is the log of everything that the agent has seen. Oh no. I deleted it. Hi. Hi. Okay. If that log is working, then it should be. Yeah, okay. So that log is stale anyways. I'll have to figure that out later. Okay. Yeah, anyway. rib grep through rip grep through, oh gosh, I did the thing again. And find this conversation by grepping for a rare phrase. Just tell me the file that this conversation's in. Oh no, that's the wrong file anyways. Oh. Okay, I'm dumb twice. Yes. That's another bug, and I have no idea how to re-trigger it. But it's happy to do it right now. Scroll, and it'll be back. All right. Here's what items in that file look like. Son of a bitch. What I'm doing is ridiculous. I'm just trying to get context that I need. This is so stupid. This is a waste of time, and I've just not noticed until now that it's a waste of time. Hey, hey, hey. And now I'm suffering from the sunk cost fallacy. Can you find a JQ one-liner to help me grep out all of your messages and all of my messages, but leave out all tool calls and thinking? All right, finally. This is now stupid. I'm going to paste all this context, which is way too much. But I'm basically saying, I don't care. Yeah, fine. Arrange my text so that it serves as a good okay, coming down soon. Okay, clean up this text that I pasted below using the context provided so that it serves as a good bulleted list response to the PR. And this is a lot of text, so I am also going to paste it again right here. Remove em dashes and replace them with n dashes. Right. Chrome. I wrote all this in crappy John English and then had an AI correct it. I'm headed down to dinner right now, but I added some comments on the PR. Tell me what you think. Oh, of course it deleted the URL that I had. Copy link. I think we're basically headed in the right direction. I haven't really played with it in earnest yet though, so I'd love a walkthrough. And if you happen to be available tonight, I'm going to be hacking with Nick Schwar starting at 7:30. But we'll be probably hacking for a while. I never type anymore. That was me writing a text message. All right, it's time. The dinner bell has rung. The clock is ticking, and I gotta head down in 2 minutes. So was it a good day? Got started later than I wanted, but I'm really excited to see the work that Michael has done with locations, which is going to be one of the absolute key things in this app. And I had a good chance to review all that work. I'm also going to be jumping back on later tonight. So, was it a good day? TBD. Adventure awaits.